Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging headfirst into something really fascinating, actually. It's been simmering, on the runways, buzzing in the fashion world. We're talking about this captivating dynamic, sometimes it feels a bit confounding, right? Between these two big forces in luxury fashion for 2025. Two forces that seem, completely opposite. Imagine, if you will, like a grand ballroom. The air's thick with anticipation. But not for, a debutante or anything. No, this is a real clash of titans. On one side, you got that whisper of cashmere, maybe the subtle gleam of a watch with no logo. It's that knowing nod, right, for the people who are truly in the know. That's quiet luxury, of course. And then on the other side, boom, a riot of color. This, symphony of textures, a defiant roar against anything boring. That's the audacious return of maximalism. It really is this dazzling, kind of dramatic standoff. And our mission today, it's to pull out the key insights from all the material we've looked at.
We've got some great stuff, including excerpts from Beyond the Whisper and the Roar, Navigating Luxury's Great Divide in 2025 by Hot Highlights Maison. We really want to get under the skin of how these huge trends are, redefining how we see luxury, how we buy it. This isn't just about clothes, is it? It's about what your choices actually mean in this, shifting world.
It is an intriguing tension, absolutely. And I think its significance really goes beyond just, what looks good this season. It's more than just an aesthetic trend. The luxury industry, it's always evolving, isn't it? Like a couture gown being constantly refitted. And as we step into 2025, it genuinely feels like we're at a fascinating crossroads. What we're seeing is this dynamic tension, a real dialogue, you could say, between discretion on one hand and declaration on the other. And it promises to reshape how we perceive luxury, how we consume it, and how we express ourselves through it. It's definitely a moment that warrants our attention because it says so much about broader shifts, how we think about identity, about status in society today.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Maybe we should start by grounding it in the market realities. Because to really get where luxury fashion is going, we first need to understand where it is right now and where it's just been. After years, and I mean years of what felt like just nonstop, almost limitless expansion, 2024 really brought a period of significant recalibration, a big adjustment for the luxury market. It wasn't a crash, thankfully, but it was definitely a marked change from that, previous exuberance we saw.
Yeah, definite cooling off.
Yeah. And the data really highlights this normalization, I guess you'd call it. We're seeing a slight decrease, a small one, maybe 1% to 3% in overall luxury spending in 2024 compared to 2023. Now, okay, that might sound tiny, but it's a pretty significant shift after the pretty wild growth we saw during the pandemic years, right?
Absolutely. Context is everything there.
And the consequence of this adjustment, it's led to this really stark polarization of performance among brands. Get this. Only about 1/3, just a third, of luxury labels actually saw any growth in 2024. That's a huge drop, almost shocking, really, from the staggering 95% that grew between 2021 and 2022. It's like suddenly the market just went, okay, time to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, exactly.
And, some brands are definitely looking a bit like straw right now. It's a real wake-up call, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And this economic recalibration, it's much more than just, a blip on a chart. It's not just numbers. What it truly signals is a profound power shift, a really fundamental one. It's basically put the reins firmly back in the hands of the consumer, but specifically the discerning consumer.
Okay.
The market, you see, it's just less forgiving now. It demands substance, real substance over just, superficial flashiness. Consumers aren't just blindly chasing labels anymore or jumping on every fleeting trend with the same kind of fervor they might have before. Instead, there's this really pronounced, you can almost feel it, this quest for value, a real desire for things that last, for long-lasting, high-quality pieces. The days of just, frivolous buys, often covered in logos, they're, putting it mildly, they're kind of over. And this shift in priorities, it's really clear in the data. The motivation to show off, it registers a tiny 10%. Just 10%. Contrast that with this overwhelming desire for quality. That's the big one, 61%, and investment, which is also strong at 32%.
Wow, that's a stark difference.
It really is. And it means this isn't just a preference anymore. It's a strategic imperative for the whole industry. Brands have to pivot. They have to move from just selling status symbols to providing real intrinsic value. It empowers the consumer, really, letting them dictate the terms. And if brands haven't grasped this by now, frankly, they're in a very, very tricky spot.
Yeah, playing catch up.
Totally. What's really interesting is how this new mindset isn't just about spending less necessarily, it's about spending differently, looking for that enduring worth, rather than just fleeting status.
That shift really does set the stage perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It leads us right to our first big player in this whole fashion story, quiet luxury. So with consumers thinking like this, what does it all mean for this particular aesthetic, the one that's really captured everyone's imagination lately? Quiet luxury. People often whisper about it as stealth wealth, right? It's really the epitome of understated elegance and refined consumption. It emphasizes exclusivity, a discerning taste, but without needing to shout about it, without those overt displays of opulence. Its essence, like the analysis says, is squarely in the craftsmanship, timeless design, and the value of materials, not in, slapping logos everywhere or being super showy. It is, simply put, the aesthetic of secret wealth.
Exactly. It's about knowing, not showing.
Yeah.
And to really get quiet luxury, it helps to look back a bit, understand its history, because this isn't some brand new thing that just popped up. It's actually quite resilient. Its origins trace way back, actually, to the rise of the capitalist class in Europe and America, late 18th, early 19th centuries.
Oh, really? That far back?
Yeah. During that time, the wealthy elites, the new money from industry and trade, they deliberately chose more understated clothing. It was a way to set themselves apart from the, super ostentatious, elaborate styles of the monarchy. There's actually a term for it, the Great Male Renunciation. It was a conscious choice, signaling a different kind of power, one based on, industry and intellect, not just inherited titles and flashy outfits.
Huh. Fascinating. I never knew that.
And then more recently, we saw it surge again in the 1990s. Designers like Donna Karan, Miucci Prada, they really popularized that streamlined, practical, but still incredibly luxurious clothing. Stuff that spoke volumes without, shouting.
Right. I remember that minimalist 90s vibe.
Exactly. And now in 2025, well, it's really gone beyond just being a trend. It's become a full-fledged lifestyle, one that prioritizes the essential, the timeless, and the enduring. Our sources confirm it's basically dominating 2025 and showing no signs of slowing down.
Wow, dominating.
Yeah. And this tendency for quiet luxury to reappear, especially during times of, say, economic uncertainty or social upheaval, it makes it more than just fashion. It really acts like a kind of societal barometer.
Oh.
It reflects this collective desire we seem to have for stability, for discretion, for intrinsic value when everything else feels, volatile.
That makes sense. When things are shaky, maybe you don't want to flash your wealth around.
Precisely. Overt displays can seem gauche, maybe even risky. So quiet luxury offers this sophisticated way to maintain your status, your discernment, but without drawing unwanted attention. It aligns with a more, perhaps, conservative or pragmatic approach to wealth.
So it's not just aesthetic, it's strategic.
Deeply strategic, I'd argue. It reflects these profound societal shifts in how we perceive wealth and status and how we communicate them. It's almost like a quiet rebellion against the loud, disposable nature of so much modern consumption. And in its subtlety, it's incredibly powerful.
That's a really compelling way to put it, that it's a strategic choice. And it leads perfectly into the business imperative of quiet luxury for brands. Because, like you said, it's a philosophy, right? A choice. It's all about that quality materials and craftsmanship speaking for themselves instead of the highly labeled goods we saw so much of before. The mantra seems to be restraint over flash, confidence over clout.
Mm-hmm. Clear message.
And those consumer motivations we talked about. For buying luxury in 2025, they just hammer this home. Remember, 61% believe luxury goods are simply made better, 56% say these things make them feel good, and 32% see them as an investment. That desire to show off, like we said, just 10%, this really feels like a fundamental shift in how people think, doesn't it?
Yes.
And brands just cannot afford to ignore it.
They absolutely cannot.
This massive pivot in why people buy luxury directly forces brands to prioritize that meticulous craftsmanship, that timeless design. It's not just a nice to have anymore. It's, well, frankly, a strategic necessity.
Right. Survival, almost.
Yeah. If consumers aren't buying just to show off a logo, brands have to justify those, let's be honest, often huge price tags through the actual value of the item. So that means this unwavering focus on amazing materials, great construction, designs that will last, which are, the core ideas of quiet luxury anyway.
Yeah, Exactly.
This whole aesthetic champions durability, versatility, and creating long-lasting, high-quality pieces, which fits perfectly with the growing demand for sustainability and, like, underconsumption, right?
It aligns perfectly.
So quiet luxury isn't just a look. It's becoming a fundamental business model for brands that want to stay relevant, stay profitable in this much more discerning market. If you're not evolving to meet this, you're just fading away.
You risk becoming obsolete, definitely. And what's really fascinating here is seeing how these sort of abstract principles actually show up in real items. The tangible pieces, the icons of understated elegance that really define this look. True quiet luxury, as the analysis points out, it's recognized by people in the know. It's marked, first and foremost, by the lack of obvious logos.
Right, no big branding.
None. And the color palette, it's sophisticated, but it goes way beyond just beige. Think muted tones like slate blue, sage green, maybe a deep plum, rust, even rich jewel tones. But they're chosen for their depth and versatility, not because they're flashy.
Okay, so nuance in the color, too.
Absolutely. And the fabrics are almost always natural. Wool, cashmere, cotton, linen, silk, high-quality versions of those. And the tailoring. Well, the tailoring has to be impeccable. It creates these minimalist silhouettes that fit perfectly, almost disappearing to highlight the wearer's own form and confidence.
Got it. So can you give us some specific examples? Those really help bring it to life.
Definitely. Let's look at a few icons mentioned in our source material. Think about the Rose Margot bag. It's kind of unstructured, super minimalist, beautiful leather, zero overt branding. It just screams elevated basics and that discreet sophistication.
Okay, yeah, I can picture that.
Then there's Loro Piana. They're often called the original quiet luxury brand. They're prized for using the absolute finest fibers in the world. Think cashmere, vicuña. The quality is insane, the design totally understated. People buy their stuff, like the extra pocket bag or their white sole loafers, purely for the material value, not the label.
Right. The ultimate if you know, you know.
Exactly. Or consider the Bottega Veneta and Diamo bag. It uses their distinctive intrecciato weave, that incredible, intricate leather weaving technique. It's instantly recognizable to those who know, but totally logo-free. The focus is all on the tactile feel, the luxury of the craft. It's a real connoisseur's choice.
That weave is iconic, yeah.
Then you have Celine, specifically from the Phoebe Philo era. The luggage bag, the box bag, trio bag, those glove shoes, the slip dresses. She really redefined modern luxury with pieces that were practical, elegant, timeless. They genuinely empowered women through clean lines and that minimalist aesthetic.
A hugely influential period.
Massively. And of course, the Hermes Birkin and Kelly bags. Okay, they're iconic silhouettes. Everyone knows them. But they're meticulously handcrafted, use rare materials. The hardware is subtle. They embody quiet luxury because their value is in that unparalleled craftsmanship and extreme exclusivity, not a giant logo. They're the ultimate stealth wealth piece.
True, the logo is tiny.
Then something more accessible, perhaps. The Burberry Classic Trench Coat. It's a heritage piece, right? Made from that durable gabardine fabric. The iconic check is often just on the lining, subtle. It's stayed relevant for over a century because it prioritizes function and enduring style.
A true classic.
And finally, think about the Max Mara structured coats like the Manuela or the 10-weight 801 model. Luxurious wool or cashmere, impeccable tailoring, classic shapes, usually in neutral palettes. They just exude this sophisticated, timeless quality, quiet confidence, no logos needed.
Those are great examples. They really paint a picture.
They do. And while these pieces often have roots in old money or extreme exclusivity, what's also really interesting now is the sort of democratization of quiet luxury.
How so?
Well, you see brands like, say, Abercrombie or Everlane now offering elevated basics and quality, logo-free fashion. It suggests this cultural trickle-down effect.
Oh, okay.
It means the core principles, good materials, good fit, timeless design, no big logos can actually be applied at different price points. It allows a much broader range of consumers to adopt the aesthetic, the vibe, even if they aren't buying the absolute highest-end item.
So you can get the look without the huge price tag.
Exactly. And this democratization shows that quiet luxury isn't just some niche trend for the super rich anymore. It's becoming a really pervasive cultural shift in how people approach fashion. Prioritizing that intrinsic value and subtle sophistication across different market segments, it's a powerful testament to its lasting appeal, I think.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, here's where I think it gets really interesting. Digging into the why. The deeper sort of psychological reasons behind this craving for quiet luxury, beyond just, the practical stuff like quality and investment. The appeal taps into some pretty profound emotional things, right?
Really?
The analysis highlights that even these discrete luxury purchases, they're still driven by wanting to feel good, wanting to reward myself. So very personal. An indulgence for yourself, much more than trying to impress others.
Internal validation.
Right. And there's also this palpable sense of post-hype fatigue. Like after years and years of loud, logo-heavy fashion, people are just tired of the relentless cycle of fleeting trends. They seem to prefer timeless pieces over trendy ones.
You can almost feel that collective exhaustion.
Totally. After all that constant newness, there's this real hunger for things that actually last. And this shift also seems to connect really strongly with a growing desire for authenticity and sustainability, especially among younger people, right? Gen Z. They increasingly want to invest in long-lasting, high-quality pieces that actually align with their values.
That ethical dimension is huge now.
Yeah. And in a world that feels just oversaturated with images and digital noise, the appeal of slowing down, seeking sensorial, meaningful experiences, it directly links quiet luxury to wanting a kind of digital detox. It's about finding some calm, some genuine value amidst the constant bombardment of, fleeting digital trends and loud branding everywhere.
Precisely. Quiet luxury isn't just about the clothes themselves. It's really a profound response to these broader societal and psychological needs we all feel. It offers a counter-narrative, a pushback against those fleeting digital trends and the endless demand for overt branding, which, let's face it, can lead to serious mental fatigue.
Yeah.
So by choosing quiet luxury, you're sort of reclaiming a sense of calm, a sense of genuine value in a world that often feels hyper-connected and, frankly, a bit superficial.
Finding solace in the real stuff.
Exactly. Finding solace in the tangible, the enduring, the personally meaningful. In a way, it offers a kind of digital detox through these high-quality physical possessions. They provide a sense of groundedness, authentic self-expression. I mean, I find myself craving that quiet sense of quality sometimes after just scrolling through endless noise online. Don't you?
Absolutely. I think that's a very relatable feeling right now. Okay, so let's pivot. Because while quiet luxury is whispering its refined restraint, there's this formidable countercurrent roaring back. Maximalism. It's making this grand re-entrance, and the analysis we looked at describes its return as truly audacious.
It is quite the contrast.
Yeah. Pinterest Predicts actually said that moody maximalism will drive style in 2025. And the explicit goal is to let you make a statement, to engage all your senses through your style choices. Because, why just exist when you can really exude?
Haha, I like that. Exude.
Right. And for fall-winter 2025, designers are apparently just going for it. Unapologetically bringing back maximalism in all its drama, color, and personality. This shows up, the analysis details, and this explosion of bold, vibrant colors, really oversized silhouettes, and that alluring see-through quality of sheer fabrics.
Lots going on.
Totally. Details are key here. Maximalism loves ornate beading, feathers, lace, the big impact of chunky jewelry, and embracing really sumptuous fabrics like shearling, leather, lace, and fur. It honestly sounds like an absolute feast for the senses, doesn't it?
It does. But what's fascinating here, I think, is how this maximalism seems to be evolving. It's not just like chaotic noise. Consider the 2025 Pantone color of the year, Mocha Mousse. Okay, it's an earthy brown tone, but they describe it as sophisticated and lush.
Okay. Mocha mousse, not neon pink.
Exactly. And that's significant. It hints at maybe a more grounded, refined maximalism, one that's about layering richness and texture rather than just hitting you over the head with chaotic, bright colors.
Interesting. So more deliberate.
Yeah, it feels like it. It's not just throwing everything on. It's more like curating the symphony of excess, but with intention. Maximalism in 2025, it seems, isn't just about unbridled excess. It's positioned as a conscious, deliberate choice for self-expression. And importantly, it's also framed as an investment in pieces that can stand the test of time.
Okay, so even the bold stuff aims for longevity now.
That seems to be the angle. And it provides this powerful emotional outlet, right? Letting consumers have a good time getting dressed and be excited about their clothes again, especially in a world that often feels less than exciting.
A bit of escapism through fashion.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And choosing a rich, earthy tone like Mocha Mousse, rather than something jarringly bright, suggests this more is more idea is being applied with a foundation of depth, maybe even elegance. It's about building this rich tapestry of textures and forms, not just piling stuff on. In uncertain times, fashion can be this really powerful psychological tool for joy, for escapism, for just asserting your individuality. And this more refined maximalism, it feels more palatable, maybe more enduring for the luxury market. It appeals to consumers who want expression without totally sacrificing sophistication.
Right, makes it less disposable feeling.
Exactly. It kind of reframes maximalism, moves it away from pure frivolity towards something that feels like a thoughtful, even if bold, choice. It suggests consumers are looking for longevity even within these really expressive styles, which, interestingly, kind of blurs the lines between the two aesthetics we're talking about, doesn't it?
It really does. That refinement makes perfect sense for the luxury space. So how are designers actually taking this more is more idea and putting it into their collections? We've seen them really pushing the boundaries of shape and form, like Schiaparelli. They show these incredibly voluminous looks using warped wiring and intricate pleating, basically turning clothes into architectural statements.
Wearable art, almost.
Yeah. Not just clothes, but sculptures you wear. And it's not just the brands you'd expect. Even labels known for being super minimalist, like Calvin Klein, are apparently introducing oversized elements now.
Wow, even Calvin Klein.
I know. That's a clear sign of how pervasive this maximalist influence is becoming across the board. It's a pretty dramatic shift for them.
Huge.
And office wear was the territory of, quiet conformity, muted colors. That's getting a dramatic reinvention, too. We're seeing sharp tailoring, bold colors, and exaggerated silhouettes from big names like Saint Laurent, Stella McCartney, Balenciaga. The midi skirt suit is making this huge comeback, but styled with high heels and really statement accessories.
Power dressing gets flamboyant.
Totally. It's almost like the office is becoming this new stage for sartorial drama. Your outfit is a deliberate part of your professional image, but in a much louder way.
And this shift isn't just about the clothes on the runway. It connects to strategic choices designers are making too, like the move towards more intimate, exclusive showcases. We saw Lowe and Stella McCartney doing this, right? Instead of those huge impersonal productions, it suggests a focus on the impact and the artistry of the design itself.
Letting the clothes speak louder in a smaller room.
Kind of, yeah. Allowing them to speak for themselves, albeit loudly, but in a more controlled, maybe more impactful setting. And the fact that so many different designers, even the minimalists, are adopting maximalist elements, that feels like a direct response to what they perceive consumers want.
So it's not just designers pushing it, it's demand pulling it.
I think so. It feels like the market is genuinely demanding more expressive, dramatic fashion. The data we have suggests consumers crave personality in fashion. They want to make a statement through self-expression.
Okay.
And this is reflected in spending, too. Buyers are apparently increasing budgets, which signals strong consumer interest in this kind of statement fashion. It's not just talk, it's translating into sales.
Money talks.
Always. And the psychological drive behind this resurgence is really compelling, too. People want to have a good time getting dressed, be excited about their clothes again. Maximalism is the trend that lets you live out your wildest fashion dreams, lets you break rules. It offers this vibrant outlet for expressing who you are.
Especially after a period of restraint, maybe.
Exactly. In a world that can feel restrictive or uncertain, fashion becomes this amazing psychological tool for joy, for escapism, just for asserting your individuality. And, the cyclical nature of fashion, it's almost inevitable, isn't it? After a period of quiet and restraint, the pendulum swings back towards exuberance.
Right.
So maximalism in this context, it's this bold assertion of self, a defiant countermove against muted trends or external pressures. It's about embracing confidence, personality, turning the act of getting dressed into like a joyful rebellion.
Joyful rebellion. I like that. Okay, so what does this all mean for the future then? We've got these two huge forces, quiet luxury whispering, maximalism roaring, seemingly battling it out in our imaginary ballroom. But the analysis really pushes back against that idea, right? It says very clearly, maximalism does not replace quiet luxury. Both trends coexist.
It's not a zero-sum game.
No. Fashion, especially at this level, it's not really either. It's more like a beautiful ballet of both hands. It's this huge spectrum with loads of room for all kinds of different expressions.
A spectrum is a great way to put it.
And what we're actually see is this fascinating convergence. Brands you'd normally think of as maximalist, they're starting to bring in elements of quiet luxury, maybe through more refined tailoring or using higher quality, more subtle fabrics alongside the bold stuff.
Right, adding substance.
Yeah. And conversely, brands known for minimalism, they're incorporating bolder, more expressive details, like an unexpected pop of bright color or a suddenly exaggerated silhouette.
A touch of drama.
Exactly. And this convergence, it seems to reflect a real maturation of the luxury consumer. Someone who appreciates both that intrinsic quality and expressive individuality.
You own both.
Yeah. The market now supports this diverse range of styles. We're moving beyond rigid binary trends towards a much more nuanced appreciation of personal style. It just reflects the complexity and individuality of the world we actually live in, doesn't it?
It really does. And this whole nuanced dialogue, it's profoundly impacting the definition of luxury itself. What luxury means is shifting. It used to be primarily about, conspicuous consumption, showing off wealth. Now the emphasis is moving much more towards meaningful purchases.
Meaningful how?
Well, driven by things like authenticity, sustainability, and longevity. Consumers, especially the younger ones, are really scrutinizing the ethical side, the environmental impact of what they buy.
Right, the story behind the product.
Exactly. So luxury isn't just about the object anymore. It's about the story, the meticulous craftsmanship, knowing the materials were sourced responsibly, and the enduring value it offers. Not just monetary value, but personal value too.
Yeah.
And beyond just products, luxury is significantly broadening its scope. It's expanding to include experiences, holistic self-care.
Oh, like wellness and travel.
Precisely. Simone Gibertoni, the CEO of Clinique La Prairie, puts it really well. He notes that the new luxury lies in holistic self-care, where every detail matters but nothing is excessive. This means luxury is evolving beyond just material things. It's encompassing ethical practices, personal well-being, unique, immersive experiences. It's a really profound redefinition of value, where purpose sits alongside prestige.
Purpose and prestige.
Yeah.
Interesting combo.
Yeah. It's about how something makes you feel, how it aligns with your personal values, the impact it has. Not just its price tag or how visible the brand is. We're seeing things like, luxury masterclasses, bespoke travel planning, even exclusive access to cultural events becoming just as desirable as a rare handbag.
That's a huge expansion of what luxury can mean. And it leads perfectly into this idea that the future of luxury fashion, then, has to be undeniably personal.
It seems inevitable.
True distinction, the analysis suggests, is going to come more and more from customized or bespoke items with personal touches.
Yeah.
Pieces that genuinely tell your unique story, rather than just broadcasting a brand everyone knows.
Making it your own.
Exactly. And this also means there's a growing appreciation for those niche, obscure luxury brands not widely recognized by the general public. Finding those offers a new kind of exclusivity, right? For people who really understand the subtle, maybe underground codes of wealth and taste. It's about discovery, that unique connection.
Being truly in the know.
Yeah. And this blending of aesthetics, we talked about infusing quiet luxury with a bit of maximalist flair, or vice versa. That's definitely going to define how individuals express themselves. Think of like a beautifully tailored, super minimalist coat, but then have this unexpected, really vibrant lining. Or a subtle, exquisite handbag, but you add one single, really impactful statement charm.
Those little personal twists.
Right. And social media, platforms like TikTok.
Yeah.
They'll obviously keep playing a huge role in spreading trends, shaping how things look.
Yeah.
But the really discerning consumer, they'll use these platforms more for inspiration, not just blind copying.
Curating, not copying.
Exactly. Curating their style as a reflection of their personal identity, their values. And this is what drives the demand for customization, for unique blends. It leads to a future where fashion is way less about external validation and much more about internal resonance, about authentic self-expression.
Ultimately, it really feels like the empowered individual is unequivocally at the helm, crafting their own personal narrative through their wardrobe. It's this dynamic, constantly evolving process, self-discovery, self-expression. The choice, now more than ever, is genuinely yours. Do you want to whisper? Do you want to roar? Or do you find that perfect, resonant balance somewhere in between?
What a journey we've taken today. So in 2025, the world of luxury fashion, it's not really a battlefield, is it? Not two opposing armies. It's more like, as we've discussed, this vibrant tapestry, woven from threads of both quiet contemplation and audacious declaration.
A complex weave.
Totally. That perceived divide between quiet luxury and maximalism. It's actually this sophisticated interplay. It reflects a market that's really matured, moved way beyond simplistic either's choices. Consumers are just more discerning than they've ever been. They're demanding authenticity, quality, a real sense of purpose from the things they invest in.
High expectations.
Very high. Whether you're whispering wealth through that perfect tailoring and amazing material, or roaring with vibrant colors and big shapes, the underlying current seems to be this unified desire. A desire for self-expression and for enduring value. So for brands, the message seems crystal clear. You have to adapt, you have to innovate, you have to truly connect with this consumer who is empowered, intelligent, and completely unwilling to settle for anything less than extraordinary.
Absolutely. And I think this leads us to that final, maybe provocative thought, the future of luxury. It's probably not about choosing a side. It's more about mastering the art of the nuanced statement.
Nuanced statement. I like that.
It's about understanding that true luxury perhaps allows for both the subtle whisper and the grand roar. Depending on the moment, your mood, the message you want to send. The grand narrative of style, it's never really finished, is it? The next chapter, well, it's already being penned. Meticulously crafted, utterly unpredictable in those hushed design studios and on the bustling runways right now. So the question then isn't really if the landscape will shift again, because it always does, but when, and maybe whether your wardrobe will be ready to meet its gaze.